So form dialogues and vibrational interactions with them in such a way that they can impress upon you how to claim your own nature in a bigger way.
That's something I can do with just my dog that I share my life with.
You can start there.
Just start there, and
but I wouldn't limit it to that necessarily.
Right. Well, I like to talk to the animals, the
then
birds.
It's not just about talking to them. It's about listening to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Right.
Yes, many people on your planet go, oh yes, I can talk to animals. But how many of you actually listen to what they're really saying? You might sometimes think you know what they're saying, but many times that's not what they're really saying.
Well, I don't know what they're saying. I just feel an energy or a vibration.
Yes, well, that's the beginning of knowing what they're actually saying, because there is a way to understand that as a language, so to speak.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Well, okay. That's definitely something that I want to go further in.
Then I would suggest that you start practicing that, and it will expand your horizons to the point where you might begin to loosen your hold on the definitions that you're using and let them also expand so that you experience the expansion in your life in the direction of your passion.
Well, thank you, Bashar. That's great. Great advice. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome.
Appreciate it.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you for being here. I actually would like to speak with Willa.
All right.
If that's okay?
One moment. Of course it's okay. One moment. What's on your mind?
Hi. So I have a couple questions. That first
itself sounded like a question. I have a couple of questions.
Is it okay if I have a couple of questions?
There's another question. You've already asked two. Do you have two more?
Okay. First, I'm a poet and a dancer, and I've been exploring these realms for a long time.
Sounds very exciting then, dear.
It is very exciting, yes. And in recent years, with my dance, I have gone into trance states and experienced what I consider to be automatic dancing.
Well, yes, that's also a form of what you people would call channeling.
Right.
Anytime you are in the state of doing what you love to do, you're in a channeling state.
Cool. Yeah, and
if that's the temperature that happens, then so be it.
So with regard to automatic dancing, I'm wondering, so far it's only happened in very particular circumstances.
And what particular circumstances would those be?
It tends to be in sort of group, communal, ritual dance settings at night.
All right, then. Is there some other way you would prefer it to be?
I guess as much as that's my preferred mode of experiencing that, it doesn't feel like I can integrate that as frequently into my life right now. And
Why? There are always other beings that are willing to dance with you. It doesn't matter whether you can see them or not.
Good point. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Sometimes I will actually make a good point. Nice to know that you picked up on it.
In regard to this thread as well, I'm wondering specifically about the positions my body goes into when I'm in this state. And
yes. Well, it will act as a kind of antenna, and it will express the flow of energy through itself in a variety of ways. As sometimes you see within the channel, when especially the Bashar is channeling through, you will find that the body will express different motions that are sometimes representative of different flows of energy that aren't translating into your language.
Right.
So it will flow the energy through itself and express the idea as a different form of language.
That's how I've perceived it so far.
Well,
but
then why did you need to ask about that?
Well, because I don't remember what I did. I have a hard time recreating it, specifically mudras.
Why would you want to
things.
recreate the same thing? Why not allow yourself to create something new? What reason is there to go back? You have on your planet a group of individuals called Zen monks, and they say you cannot step in the same river twice. It's always flowing. Don't try to recreate. You can't.
Okay.
It will always be new, even if it seems very similar. It is always new because you're never the same person, dear.
Right.
You never will be. So how can you, being a different person, create exactly the same thing that another person created? Because you were another person then. Wasn't really the you are now.
Right.
So why would you try to do that? Why not just go forward and see what new things you create as the new you? Because they will be exactly what the new you needs to create.
Okay.
Instead of creating things that are no longer relevant for the you that you are at that time.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Do you
It
get
does.
what I'm saying?
It does. Yes, absolutely. And
Because if you're a dancer, I would think you wouldn't want to be that rigid, that
absolutely.
inflexible.
Absolutely. And
All
I
right,
think
then.
I've been able to
The
enter.
process itself, remember, is a dance.
Yes.
So be fluid in the
Yes.
process
Oh.
as you are in the dance itself.
That's very good for me to hear, because my other question was
Yes.
going to be, and maybe this is more one for Bashar, but it's with regard to having too many passions and excitements.
There's no such thing, dear.
Okay.
You can have a lot of different expressions of your passion, and that's all right. But if you really are living in your passion, you're going to find that the tool of synchronicity is going to arrange them in the order in which they need to be done and in the time in which they need to be done. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not using the tool. You're not allowing the tool to show you the timing of the thing, for it'll automatically organize it for you. You don't have to push yourself. You just
Okay.
have to go with the flow.
Okay.
But they can be different expressions of your passion.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. May I ask another question?
You know what we're going to say to that then, don't you? That was a question you just
Yes.
asked. You don't need to ask if you can
Okay.
ask, dear.
Okay.
Just ask.
I'm curious about how you
One
achieved.
moment, please. We picked up something from someone in your audience. They were thinking that we might actually sound like someone called Mrs. Doubtfire. Who would that be then?
Doubtfire.
Oh, never mind. Please proceed.
Yeah, I could see that. So, with regard to how you achieved your 5 levels of mastery, did you do that in one single incarnation?
Well, yes, dear.
Okay.
It can be done.
Okay.
It can take a while, but it can be done. Some do and some don't. It's not a path for everyone, but it can be done, and yes.
Okay. And then I have one final question, and I'll just ask it. I'm not sure if it will be able to be answered, but my younger
You
brother.
sure do like preambles, don't
I really
you?
do. Yeah. It's,
All right, then. What is it?
my youngest brother and I seem to have a connection that seems to be somehow related to the Pleiadian energy. And I'm wondering if you have any clue about that. It's just something I'm curious about.
Well, how do you feel that that connection serves you then? Because that's what you're doing. You're making a connection to that energy. Because you feel that with your belief system, it's the energy that serves to reflect to you what you need to learn about yourself. Yes? So what do they represent to you then? What is your idea of that energy when you use those words? For we understand beings from the Pleiades, but we have our own way of understanding them. What do they mean to you?
So much. I don't even know that I can sum it up in
All
one
right.
sentence, but
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to sum it up at all if you understand the feeling and you understand how to translate it for yourself as to what meaning you have given that connection and know how to use it in your life. How do you use it in your life then?
compassion, love. Also, I feel like understanding my calling as being related to expressing spirit as opposed to being within a particular religion.
All
As
right
well?
then. Does that work for you then?
Yes.
All right then, that's sufficient.
Okay.
You don't have to make a big mystery out of it.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you then, dear?
Very much so.
All right then, thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's that noise again.
The clapping for ourselves. Hello, Willa.
Good day to you,
Good
dear.
day. I'd like to share my energy with you, but with all due respect, may I please speak to Bashar?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And good day to you.
Hello, Bashar. I share my energy with you also. I have a couple of subjects to talk about, one being the soul, but the other one being the secrets that the U.S. presidents are keeping, and I'll begin with that. Now, and it has to do with the project you have us working on, sending a postcard for 90 days to the president about
Disclosure.
Disclosure, exactly. I know it is believed that the presidents were aware of the existence of ETs since the time of Truman. And I would like more of an understanding of what the big issue is about keeping this big secret.
Well, you have to realize that at the time, there was a lot of fear and a lot of paranoia, and you had just come out of what you would call a world war, yes?
Yes.
Therefore, it was simply deemed that the populace couldn't handle something that large at that time because they had yet to really integrate and assimilate the effects of the war into society. But a plan was made to, over time, release the information. Now, other people sort of got a hold of that and had a difference of opinion about whether that should be released or not, and eventually they came to be the ones that would be in power and control that information. Because then it became an issue of keeping the information from others, especially the technological information, so that they would perceive that others would not have a technological advantage over others.
Is it true that Eisenhower met with them and made a deal for to allow ET presence for the sharing of their technology?
Yes.
And talking about President Kennedy. Now,
Yes.
Kennedy, there was the Cold War going on, and Kennedy and Russia were concerned because the radar could not distinguish the ETs from, their different missiles, and they didn't want to start a war accidentally.
Yes, we understand how our ships work.
Yeah. But we couldn't identify you, and so we didn't want to think
Hence,
the U.S. was
UFO.
right. At any rate, he put through an order to have our information shared with the Russians in order that we would not make this accidental war. However, he was killed before
Yes.
the order was...
In the reality you understand now.
Exactly, that's
But
my
in another
next.
reality, no.
What happened in the other reality where he did not die?
He revealed the information, but in that reality, the information was revealed too soon and actually did cause a breakdown of your society, for which he was then killed 5 years later, because he was blamed for it.
I see.
Because your people were not ready for the information. They didn't know how to integrate it because they had never been prepared properly to integrate the information of our extraterrestrial presence. Now, of course, there are other parallel realities where everything went just fine.
I see.
But that was the reality, just to speak linearly for a moment, that was the reality that was immediately preceding the history that you all changed to have him die before he was capable of revealing the information so your society would not collapse. However, there were still ripples from the reality in which he was killed later in 1968, and those ripples that entered your reality as you know it now and your history as you know it now was responsible for the assassination of his brother and the individual known as Martin Luther King.
So
you see how these things overlap.
yes, but I'm trying to get clarity. I think what I'm hearing you say is that Kennedy, his brother, and Martin Luther King were killed so that this information would not come out.
The original president, yes, not the others.
In the other realities. Oh, the original, you're just saying Kennedy?
Just JFK, as you know him.
Okay, because I thought I heard you say Robert also.
The reflection from the old reality where JFK was killed in 1968 still existed as a ripple in the new reality, and that ripple caused the idea of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King to then be assassinated. It was, in a sense, a remnant or a residue from the old timeline.
I see.
Do you understand?
I think so.
Because, you see, your history changes all the time. You think it's static. It's not. It's dynamic. But you only remember the history that you've recently created as if that's always been your history and have no real memory of the other history that might have actually been here 5 minutes ago, where you might have had a completely different reality, but as a consensus agreed to shift that history. So now you may have a completely different history, even though history by definition will seem to have always been the history you had, even though it wasn't.
Okay.
These things are dynamic, not static. This is what you begin to understand when you learn to perceive things multidimensionally.
So, having said that, there
Yes.
must be realities in which we already have had first contact
Absolutely.
and continued
And
beyond.
that's what you're shifting toward. If you stay in the vibration that is representative of that reality, because remember, you never change the world you're on. You change your vibration and you shift yourself to other versions of Earth that are already more reflective of the change you made within yourself. The world you were on still remains the same and never changes. Because you're changing billions of times a second right now, even to create the side effect you call time and space. So you're navigating through a series of versions of Earth, like frames on a film strip, navigating through that timeline, but you're always moving through a different version, a different parallel version of Earth. And you navigate more and more in the direction of whatever your strongest state of being vibration is. That's what guides you. That's your rudder.
Okay.
And it is the wind in your sail.
So if I am already following my excitement to the best of my ability without expected outcomes,
Then
et
you
cetera,
are
et cetera.
navigating along a series of timelines that will ultimately allow you to experience only those versions of Earth that are more and more and more reflective of the reality you prefer based on the state of being you prefer.
So that I will eventually get into these other realities in which there is contact and life has progressed from there with the ETs.
Yes, if you allow yourself to continue in each moment to recreate the vibration of your preference. That will be one of the things contained within it, because that's one of the things that is contained within the definition of your excitement, as it is with ours.
I see.
That's how
Okay.
it works.
So you are helping us get there.
By giving you this information and seeing what you do with it and how much of it you absorb, you then make the change in your own frequency that brings you closer and closer and closer to the vibration of contact. Yes.
Okay.
Not that you have to.
Right. Right. Well,
But if you do, then you are accepting the vibration of contact more and more into your being. Yes,
Okay.
that's what this exchange is all about. This is one of the protocols of how we do first contact. We give you the option to choose based on the information we share as to whether you actually want to adopt that information or not and have contact or not. It's always left up to you.
so that those of us who are proceeding along with that 90-day experiment are expressing the fact we want to get into this
That
other
it
reality.
is a reflection of your passion. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That it is part of the definition
Okay.
of the reality that you prefer. Yes.
Okay. These next two are probably not relative to, but I'll ask them anyway.
Oh, all
So
right.
Ronald Reagan, who had experienced ET, he had seen him. Is it true that he took Jackie Gleason, his friend, and they observed some things?
Yes.
Okay. And also, what happened when Admiral Byrd went to the Antarctic to explore some activity that was reported there? What happened?
Some members encountered a certain kind of energy portal or vortex that allowed them to experience a shift to another dimension of reality temporarily.
Okay, so Byrd was in another reality, but he came back
Yes.
to ours.
Yes,
I see.
so to speak.
So, okay.
Because again, everything is actually new, but in the way that you mean it linearly, that was the effect, yes, that you perceived.
Okay. When
But
Jimmy,
again, remember, it wasn't the same person.
oh, it wasn't the same Admiral Byrd, you're saying?
Because every second is a new Admiral Byrd, just like every second
Right.
is a new you.
Exactly.
We
Okay.
mean this quite literally.
Yes, I know that.
All
Yes.
right.
Okay. Now, when President Carter was given the information, he was given a briefing about the ET situation.
Yes.
Why did he become so emotional and actually even put his head on his desk and cried? What was so critical about the information that he was given that caused him to react like that?
We have given you the story of the Greys. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah. No, wait a minute. Wait. I'm not sure. Please give me a synopsis.
Do you understand that the Grey civilization, those beings that you consider to be those diminutive gray aliens,
Okay.
are actually mutated humans from a parallel version of Earth, who destroyed their version of Earth
Okay.
and mutated themselves in that way in order to survive, thus tunneling into other parallel realities to use viable human DNA, since they could no longer reproduce, to create our hybrid societies, which then allowed them to perpetuate their culture. You got that much?
Yes.
All right. The information is that you were heading down the same path. Do you understand?
Of destroying ourselves again?
Yes,
I
and
see.
actually going to replicate that history in your own reality and eventually become Greys yourselves if you continued down that destructive path.
So, have we changed our path?
Some of you have, some of you haven't.
Okay. Why is it that the CIA is controlling and holding back all of the information?
The CIA isn't.
It isn't?
No, it's a
Okay.
different organization altogether that most of you have no awareness of.
Can you
It
say?
has gone by various names, but still most of you are really not aware of it.
Oh, what do you call it?
We don't call it anything
What do you
because
think
we
we
don't
call it?
focus on it.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to tell me what it is, so I won't focus on it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Why has why have we gone back to the atomic bomb to then start our transitioning in this reality?
What are you talking about?
Well, isn't it true that the transition began basically when the atomic bomb was dropped?
But what do you mean by going back to it?
That we are changing, that we are our technologies are changing, we're growing, we're realizing different things.
Yes, but what are you asking?
Why did the timeline start? What was so important about the dropping of the atomic bomb that
Well, it
started
showed
the
you
transition?
what the effects would be and allowed you to understand whether or not you really wanted to continue down that path.
I see. Okay, so that was to give us a picture of what could happen if we keep going where we're going.
Yes.
Therefore, all of if the world tries not
Yes.
to drop another
However,
one.
However, it's been many, many years since that idea of global thermonuclear war would actually be possible. Because it has also been demonstrated by many beings from other civilizations that you would not be allowed to launch such a war. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have isolated nuclear strike here and there, terrorist acts and so forth. But global nuclear war, no, because it will not be allowed. Because a global thermonuclear war would rip through the fabric of different space-time dimensions and affect more than just you.
Right.
So your military has been shown many, many times by different space vehicles of extraterrestrial origin hovering over your missile silos that we have the ability to completely scramble and erase your launch codes.
Yes.
This has
We are
been
aware.
shown many times.
Yes.
So global nuclear war is not in the cards for you.
Okay. The
anymore.
machines just don't work. The buttons don't work when you're
The missiles won't
won't
launch.
go. Yes. Another concern is that the media, the motion picture industry right now, when we're talking about, open contact and stuff like that, the movies that are coming out, they're like Colony or whatever, they're showing the fact that there is contact, but they're fear-based, and that concerns me because we don't want to have a fear-based society.
It's interesting, though, isn't it, that those are the ones you gravitate to instead of the ones that give you a positive message?
Right. And they're so
No,
fear-based.
do you understand what I'm telling you?
No. I don't. Actually, to tell you the truth, I only saw a commercial of the Colony, but I haven't.
But you're focused on it.
I'm asking the question about it, yeah, because I want to understand, is there a force working against?
Those that will gravitate to that will gravitate to that. Those that won't.
I see.
Choose what you prefer,
Thank you.
vibrationally speaking.
And that is exactly what I wanted
There
to hear.
is a contact film that exists right now in your society that actually will give you a much better idea of the depth of what a real interaction with an extraterrestrial civilization would be like. It's called Arrival.
Arrival. Okay. It's in the theaters? Thank you.
Right now.
Right now, great. I will look at that. When
Allow your energy and your vibration to align
Okay.
with ideas and stories like that instead.
Okay.
And that will make all the difference.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what you typically would call conspiracies.
Okay.
Because that will take you down a path I guarantee you do not want to walk down.
Right.
And you must understand, as we have said before, the beings that you are on your planet assigning great power to don't have as much power as they would like you to believe they have. But they do control media in a way to make you think they do. So don't play the game of falling into what they want you to believe. they're able to do that they're actually not able to do.
Okay. Okay,
So
thank
don't
you.
play their game.
Thank you for that advice.
You are welcome.
On the subject of the soul,
Yes.
I know the soul leaves the body
Not really.
well, at death.
I know that that's the experience in the way you have it from a linear perspective, but it's more just like your consciousness expanding beyond the physical focus, because your soul is not in your body. It's actually more accurate to say that your body is in your soul, because it's a
Okay.
crystallization of focus that happens within your consciousness, which includes the soul and the oversoul and many other levels of your being.
Okay, so when we are created, when the energy, the consciousness, and the physicality is created, at what point does
Consciousness has always existed.
and is
Within a time frame, it appears as if your body is being created. From within a time frame, it
Okay.
appears that you have a beginning and a middle and an end.
right?
But in terms of existence, there's no such thing. It all exists at once.
In that what it appears in the physical world,
Yes.
and you're born,
Yes.
at what point does the soul enter?
49 days.
From conception?
Yes. Because that's
49
when
days.
the brain structures that are capable of processing or expressing the idea of the consciousness in the way that you would consider to be relevant actually form
49 days.
on 49 days in, yes.
Okay. Well, I thank you for all of this
And by the
background.
way,
Yes, sir.
even often up to the age of 7, there may still be what you would consider to be a very loose connection.
Right. I have heard that.
It doesn't really crystallize solidly until, for most people, about the age of 7 on your planet.
And that's why children have memories, right?
They are connecting to things more purely through the spirit realm and not forgetting as much of who they really are as a greater being.
Yes. Okay. Well, I thank you for your time. And
It
you-
has been a timeless experience.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you, good day.
So grateful for this interaction today.
As are we, in deep appreciation of all the interactions that we have with each and every one of you.
And I'm more grateful because it was so synchronized that most of my questions were just answered.
Thank you for your synchronicity.
But I still have a few.
That's all right.
On the subject of parallel realities that you were just talking
Yes,
about.
parallel reality.
Yes. And you were talking about the ripples, I mean, the effects of the other realities ripple into the other reality.
Because of the collective consciousness creating senses of continuity that connect those things together, yes.
So let's say, for example, this is where I need clarification.
Yes.
Let's say in this reality that I'm focused in, I'm afraid of swimming.
Yes.
Does that mean that there's a possibility that in a different reality I had an experience?
That version of you might have had an experience that you're connecting to play out and use that experience to explore whatever themes you're exploring here. Because somehow you believe that making that connection to that experience will serve you. Yes.
Okay. So then, how
Yes.
do I know that? How would I know that that specific thing is something that's serving me?
Well, again, it serves you because it puts you in touch with the idea that you have a belief that is generating the fear.
Oh, I see.
And you use the fear as a messenger to let you know you have a belief you're unaware of. So sometimes you will make these connections to generate fear that will then reveal to you certain beliefs you didn't know existed within the matrix of your consciousness. Therefore, it's doing you the service of pointing them out like a spotlight. And then you can ask the question, oh, what would I have to believe is true in order to experience this fear? And then you can let the fear go because it's done its job. But you will connect sometimes to other realities that might be exploring similar themes but have had an experience that will induce fear in you to point out a similar belief system within yourself.
I see.
That's one way to use parallel reality connections to your advantage.
So the experience or the purpose of shape-shifting, does
Yes.
that also help us experience more different
Of course.
energies then?
Because
or?
once you learn the idea of shape-shifting and you shift into a form that is different than what you think of your natural form, you're going to start to know what that form knows, think like that form thinks, behave like that form behaves, and you're going to learn a lot that way. You can even match a frequency. Now, we've talked about different ways of doing this because this is the basis of telepathy, that you don't read another person's mind, but you operate on a similar wavelength and have the same thoughts at the same time synchronistically. That's what telepathy actually is. So the idea of shape-shifting is a further demonstration of that by actually becoming, in a sense, a version of them that is almost identical physiologically by taking on a parallel reality reflection that makes you look like a twin of someone, and then you can understand them.
This is something you recognize?
Oh, yes. Understand that in the natural form of spirit, if you don't hold on to the idea that you look like anything or anyone in particular, your natural form is as an orb of light. That's really what spirits look like. They're just energy balls. That's a focus of concentration and consciousness. It doesn't have to look like anything. It doesn't really have to take any particular personality shape. So you were perceiving the true essence of spirits.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Once again,
I tend to,
you what?
I
Beg your pardon?
I see and feel energies.
And
choose to feel energies.
It's not tend, choose.
Okay.
Tendency is out of your control. Choice is what you are in control of. So you are choosing to
feel other energy forms
yes.
in the same space that I'm in.
Are you starting to see a pattern here?
Yes.
You are highly charged and highly sensitive to higher frequency energies, and very often will exemplify the idea of what is possible from those states of being. You are loosely connected to physical reality in that sense. So, What are you doing with that talent and that skill and that ability in life?
What
How
do
are you applying
suggest?
it? Well, you know the formula, yes, that we've been talking about. Follow your passion best you can. No insistence. Stay in the positive state. Yes, that will usually bring you to a deeper understanding of how you can use these kinds of experiences in your life. Because one of the things that comes with that is the organizing principle of synchronicity, which brings you inspiration and awareness as to how to utilize what it is that you're experiencing. It doesn't leave anything out. It will bring you, in a sense, the opportunities, the instructions. You'll know what to do. But you have to act on the formula to accelerate yourself in a way that allows you to know how to apply this in your physical experience, because that's why you chose to be here, bringing those energies down to earth. But you remain loosely connected so you can do that more consciously. But that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yes. And so how are you using this in your life?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to use this in my life.
Well, what kind of a person are you? What kind of a person have you chosen to be because of these experiences?
A spiritual person.
There you go. So you are giving yourself an opportunity to be a living example of a higher state of being, so that you can do what you need to do, take the actions you need to take that will be examples to other people who may see you and say, oh, look at the wonderful life she is living. Look how happy she is. Look how excited she is. Maybe that's something I can do for myself too. You may never know how many people you're helping. People who walk by may just see you looking all happy and go, wow, I wish I could be that happy too. And maybe you will have changed their lives because they're willing to change their lives just by seeing you as a living example. You don't know how many people you're helping just by being you.
Okay, well, I was about to ask how I can help people through this.
Just told you.
Yeah.
Now, you can do it in any other way that you're conscious of wishing to do it. That's up to you. But all I'm telling you is you're already helping just by being you. And the only way you can help people is by being you to the best you can, because that's your purpose in life. That's your mission. All of you. Your purpose is the same. Your expressions are different, but your purpose is the same. Being you as best as you can, as fully as you can.
Great.
Yes?
What's the best way for me to communicate with other beings that I've felt?
Well, it seems like you're already doing that, but again, when we give you all the formula, we give it to you because that is the basic instruction manual for everything you're asking. Because when you follow your passion, what happens? You raise your frequency. When you raise your frequency, what happens? You become a better receiver of higher frequency communication. You become a better antenna to those frequencies. So one thing leads to another. Every relevant thing is contained in the formula, in the instruction manual. That's why we give it to you in a simple form. Look, A, B, C, D. Here. This will answer your questions. This will allow you to experience everything that's relevant for you to experience, that's a reflection of your passion and joy in life, and allow you to be more of who you truly are. It's all contained within this little kit. You don't have to overthink it or go beyond it. We can discuss for hours and days and weeks and months and years, as we have, the details of those instructions. We can go into them deeper. We can help you understand them more clearly. But there are no more instructions in the manual. You have the entire manual. Just follow the instructions as you would any instruction book for operating a piece of machinery. It'll work to your advantage if you do that. Yes?
Yes.
That's it. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. It is simpler than you think. It is. It really is. If we can impress anything upon any of you in the course of the years that we have been sharing this information, please take it to heart. It is simpler than you think. Literally, listen to that sentence. It's simpler than you think. So stop thinking so much and just go with the flow. Remember, every one of you is a current in the ocean of creation. Your current knows where you need to go. Surrender is not giving up control. Surrender is going with the flow of your current in the natural control that's built into it. You don't have to control it in any extra way. Let your physical mind relax. Let it do the job it was designed to do, which is to give you a physical experience of what's happening in the moment. Ride the current. You'll wind up where you need to go. It's that simple.
Great. And I have another question.
Yes.
I was wondering about astrology and
Permission slip, like anything. A reflection of states of consciousness within individuals and groups, but not a causation, a reflection. People can use the permission slip to get in touch more precisely, if they're sensitive enough to do so, to use that particular permission slip tool to realize what's going on in the consciousness of an individual and to understand what that individual may have laid out for themselves, at least to some degree, in the theme that they chose to explore in this life. But like anything, any tool, any technique, any ritual, any object, it's a permission slip that simply aligns with someone's belief system at the present moment, that allows them to more easily grant themselves permission to change and be more of themselves. But the person is doing the changing, not the tool. The tool is just a mirror you're using to say, yes, I like the way I look in that mirror. And so you allow yourself to be that you more easily because you believe the permission slip gives you a better way, an easier way of doing that, because it's aligning with your belief system to allow you to circumvent your belief system more easily. Everything is a permission slip. Use whatever works for you. Whatever you're attracted to because it works for you. Otherwise, when you change, you might be attracted to a different permission slip. Or you might get to the point where you realize you are the ultimate permission slip, and then you don't need any external device. You will just change as you prefer to in any given moment, in the blink of an eye. Or at least in whatever length of process is necessary for you to fully transform and appreciate the transformation in the way that you wanted to by choosing to have a physical experience. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I've answered a call to a quest of remembering.
Remembering what? More of who you are?
That's part of it.
All right. What's the other part?
The role I've played and the role the crystal skulls are playing.
Yes. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how's the journey so far?
Very fast and very full of synchronicity. And lots
Oh,
of
all
excitement.
right. And so,
And so I've come for more clarity
about what?
around the archetypes that the
Yes.
different skulls
Represent?
are representing
Yes.
and the source in which they've been encoded.
Well, the original source goes back to what you would call Atlantean times. And so it was understood that eventually, because there are cycles on your planet where things may come together and then be broken apart and so on and so forth, that certain understandings and knowledge should be imbued in many different forms. The crystal skulls, all 13, are one of those forms. The master skull has yet to be discovered, but there are those that, in a sense, were infused with the knowledge from the master skull, and some of them exist in public and some of them still do not, of the originals.
You've spoken a bit of this, one particular one, the Mitchell Hedges skull,
Kukumats.
Kukumats. My question was more about the others
Yes.
and the other energies, the archetypal energies that they're holding.
Well,
and
we
what-
have spoken recently of one that does exist in the care of indigenous people in the northeastern United States border, Canada, in that region generally, that goes by the name of Sequoia. And it has to do with connections to the trees and nature. That's its archetypal energy. Then there is that which exists near Angkor Wat that is called Tet and has to do with other kinds of archetypal energy. And then there is that in Tibet known as Shan that has to do with other dimensional realms and portals. These are the ones that we can discuss at this time. The others have their timing and have yet to be discovered in ways that will allow all eventually to be brought together into the master circle of 13.
And along those lines, is there a reason why they're not able to be spoken about? The other archetypes?
You're not ready.
Me personally or humanity?
Humanity in general. Some individuals may be ready before the population, and through synchronicity, you may find your way before the general population, because that is your passion and your interest. But in general, we are only allowed to go so far in this information, not only because it might not be appropriate at the moment, and also maybe because there are people who are simply not ready for it, but it might also not be our job to dispense that information. It might be the job of others.
That makes sense.
Once again,
Along those lines, I've received a lot of information recently
Yes.
from the skulls. It felt like a stream of other languages, cosmic languages, and maps.
yes.
And
There's a lot of knowledge and information embedded in the skulls. In various languages, not even the languages only of Earth.
yes, and then I saw faces and eyes of specific races,
Yes.
and was receiving ways of communicating with all the different
Right.
races.
Very good.
In that, it made me curious too about what I've been remembering
Yes.
around the hybrids
Yes.
involvement,
Yes.
and just the understanding of how humanity was seeded.
Through the idea of the genetic alterations, you mean?
More like, what are the combinations like of the races, and what are those relationships, what are those histories?
Well, there are many. And again, some we cannot necessarily discuss at this time. But we have already mentioned that there are Sirius connections and Orion connections and Lyran connections, Pleiadian connections, Arcturus connections, hybrid connections, gray connections, parallel reality connections, and several others that we won't mention right now.
So the hunch that I'm having, or I guess the part of the remembrance, is these skulls in a way accessing multiple.
One moment. Receiving new data. What is coming to the forefront also recently is the connection to some of the star systems that form the constellation you call Draco, the dragon. This is coming more back into your consciousness at this time as a connection. So this is another portal that is awakening.
I've had memories of being a dragon.
Well, yes and no. Not in the literal sense as people think. The idea of the dragon represents many different kinds of things and archetypal levels of beings from other dimensions that express themselves in certain ways in your physical reality that take on the form that you are calling a dragon. So it is not necessarily meant as a typical flesh and blood animal, but you are
energetic
connected
signature.
to the energetics and the idea of the systems that we just referred to in the Draco constellation. And this is not in any way, shape, or form meant in the negative connotation of draconian.
Yeah, and along those lines, the different frequencies of those systems and those races are encoded in these skulls. I'm just curious
Yes.
about the function of them as memory, them working together, their collective.
Well, yes, it gives you your entire history. It gives you an understanding of connections to all the different races of which you have some connection to among the stars, the galactic family, and many other things, many other levels of knowledge and understanding of the structure and nature of existence and many things.
And how does that serve, or how can that serve humanity at this time?
Really?
Well, I know the answer to that. I'm more wanting to have the dialogue with you.
Well, it's a quest. To search for them is to search within the self and to discover those parts within the self that are represented by aspects and archetypal energies that are represented in the skulls. So it's part of a quest to pull yourselves back together, in a sense. A gathering, an awakening, a realization, a shamanistic journey of understanding and awakening.
That resonates also on the level of what humanity's invitation is to evolve to a different
invitation that exists for all life to be all that is.
Along those lines, are the crystal skulls also the crystalline form of them?
Yes. What about it? It's a good storage.
Also just a clue of what we are able to evolve to or return
There
to.
is more and more silicon evolving in your bodies to make you more receptive antennas. Not only to higher frequency energies, but also to the skulls.
Would you say that there's a shift happening in terms of a shift in our species, like turning into a different species?
This is what we mean when we say Earth is becoming the sixth hybrid race. And we have already said many times, whether you are aware of it or not, that many of the children that have been being born for the past few decades on your planet are not new generations, they are a new species.
Yeah, I was feeling that. A new species, but also able to communicate with those other off-world species.
Well, yes, of course. That's part of what happens when you are more of yourself.
The Lyrans also keep coming through as a strong pointer
Yes,
towards
I said so.
what's coming next in terms of
The Lyrans and the Pleiadians are offshoots of evolutionary forms of what the Anunnaki became.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
You understand the Anunnaki?
Yeah, but I'm
The Anunnaki
Curious what you
no
could
longer
share.
exist in their original form. They evolved and went into systems that you now recognize as the Lyrans, which also gave progeny to the existence of the Pleiadians. So they are your cousins in many ways.
What can you tell me about my specific lineage?
Nothing at this time because there is no time for it. This will be another conversation because there is a lot of information to unpack in that conversation.
That I'm going to be discovering and
Well, yes, but also simply for the auspices of this transmission, it is simply more information than we have time for.
I understand.
So thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be in service with you.
And you as well.
Thank you.
Please take a short break. We will resume this transmission to crystallize in the transmission today in your upcoming meditation.
We will reconvene in 15 minutes.
All right, I'll say let us continue the transmission by asking each and every one of you to become very comfortable in your seats. Relax, let go, and let the cares of the day drift away. Oh, good letting go. Allow yourselves to breathe easily and deeply. As your lights begin to play and your music rises, just allow yourselves to feel your body relax with every breath and open up to the journey that we invite you on this day of your time into a new reality. Let yourself focus on the holotope. The colors, let them play through your eyes. And let the energy stream through all of your cells, your nerves, the blood coursing through your veins and arteries, the electrical currents in your brain. Let it all flow smoothly, without resistance, so that you may go into a relaxed, healing state that will allow you to center to the very core of your being. There are powerful vibrations emanating to your world from many of us this day of your time. As we explained, our approach in this transmission is unusual and rare. But now is the time to exercise freedom to choose. For this is not only about the structures of your society. This was also a reading of the collective energy in your society. A litmus test. A rock thrown in a pond to create ripples which tell us how to read the temperature, the energy, the state of being of your society as a whole and portions of it, collectives in it, individuals and groups, thought processes. We have this day in this transmission dipped a finger into your pond in a new and unique way, specifically for the purpose of creating those ripples so that we may know who will allow themselves to move more easily in the direction of contact and who shall fall away. For these ripples spread out electromagnetically way beyond the voice that you hear in this particular chamber. For the thoughts, the feelings, the energy are ephemeral and know no borders. They penetrate through the very earth. The vibrations will resonate as the ripples reach out and grow, some reinforcing, some canceling. There are many watching, many observing, many taking note, many reading. For this is a time and a rite of passage. A rite that allows for frequencies, vibrations to be sent out to either be matched or discarded, harmonized with or discordant. And allow all to look within, to know their own truth for what they believe is correct for them in the multitude of versions of Earth that overlap in this moment here and now, in this space here and now, in this eternal moment of existence. As you see in the holotope, the lines and the circles radiating out from the center, these are the ripples that go beyond the borders of the diagram and the graphic before you, and reach into other dimensions in many directions that penetrate the psyche of your world, that begin to break down the barriers of the human mind and open you to more possibilities and more probabilities, so that you may choose more freely what you believe to be right for you. It matters not what your choices may be, for we validate and allow you your choices because we love you unconditionally. But it is an opportunity to look within yourselves at your own reactions to the ripples and decide whether what you have experienced in this litmus test, in the ripples in the pond, is the state of being that you prefer to live within, and the version of Earth that goes with it. Allow yourselves to be free to choose with no recrimination, no negative judgment, for all are equal in the eyes of all that is.
You are all infinite and eternal spirits. And no matter your choices in this life or in any other reality that you may experience, all roads ultimately lead home. And home is here, and home is now. And we welcome you home. Let the vibrations carry you on the currents of creation. Let yourselves float freely in the infinite sea, drifting in the void, peppered and salted by stars and darkness, light and dark. And the neutral space in between, the balance point, the pivot point, the power to choose, the fulcrum that exists within you. Move the lever, and the world shall move with you. For you are the world that you inhabit. It is within you. Let yourselves float freely. Breathe deeply and be at peace. Be at peace with yourself, no matter who you are, no matter what you may choose to believe. Be at peace. You are supported by unconditional love. For all are children of creation. All are aspects of the infinite. All are reflections of all that is. But shy not away from your choices. For your choices are who you are. For you are unique, and that is why you exist. You are a path. You are a reflection of the infinite. You are the theme of your life. You. Grow in strength, grow in love, grow in allowance, grow in peace. Your greatest power is the freedom to choose. Choose according to who you truly are, deep in your heart, deep in your soul, deep in your core. And all will be as it needs to be. And all will fall into place effortlessly. Dream now with us. Drift now with us.